What's going on? Peace, everybody. This your girl Tiffany coming through live in effect right here on the StreamYard. So today we're gonna deal with sports, right? So we're gonna talk about one of our top athletes of all time. She won many gold medals back in the 80s. She was known as the fastest runner. I mean, this woman was fast, okay? But sadly, she passed on this day on September the 21st of 1998 from a seizure. And the person that I'm talking about, I mean, she was phenomenal. I mean, she was very flamboyant because she wore the nails, she wore the leotard, she had the beautiful long hair, and she had the attitude with it too. So who I'm talking about is Florence Griffith Joyner, also known as Flo-Jo. So who was he? Who was she, and why did she not get her credit? What credit was due? All right. So let's take a look at who Miss Flo-Jo is. This beautiful, phenomenal woman right here. Look at her. Now you can't tell me that woman don't take her. You can't tell me she wasn't taking it seriously. Now she had on that leotard though. Look how she got one pants leg and the other one bare. She had it going on. All right. So what I want to do is I'm gonna play a little video clip. All right. And then, oops, hold on. Hold on, give me a second. All right, so I'm gonna play a video clip from her. Okay. And this is when she did her little interview back in the day. So go ahead and get started.
I felt good. People are probably doubting me now. Can I run 1049 again? And I do believe that I can. When? I don't know. I feel that I have not reached my peak. I was saving that for fall. So we'll see. So.
With a fresh new confidence that is easy to understand, Florence Griffith Joyner raced to change the silver medal image. Her legendary 1984 fingernails have been trimmed and are now most definitely accented in the color gold. Her self-designed outfits get your attention too. The Florence motto, dress to look good to feel good, and feel good to run fast.
You have to feel good in order to perform good. And that's why I design my clothes the way I do. People have given me different outfits to try on. If they don't feel good, I don't feel confident wearing it. And I don't want to get to the line thinking about my outfit it doesn't fit good, it doesn't feel good. You have to feel good about yourself before you can perform good, I believe.
This week, husband Al Joyner failed to qualify the men's triple jump, but he is still right there for her all the time. And he'll be the first one to tell you he enjoys being married to the world's fastest woman because it means he was fast enough to catch her.
They found my car.
How did you do that?
Oh, she was running. I cut a hole in the track and she fell through. That's on my car.
The world record is only part of what Florence wants. She knows the target date and thinks she and the team are very ready.
A lot of the Americans didn't compete that much over in Europe prior to coming to the trial, so we haven't overrun ourselves this year. A lot of people are saying that the East Germans, everybody's going to be ready, but the Americans. And we're pulling together to say we want the records. We're tired of everybody else having a record. We know that we can come together and do it.
She already has one world record in the 100 meters, while husband Al Joyner's hopes are still alive on the 110 high hurdle still to come today. Gwen Torrance at 23 may be the heir to the sprinting throne when Florence Griffith is done, perhaps in lane 6. And Valerie Briscoe, the first woman since Wyoming Attias and Wilma Rudolph to win 3 Olympic golds. She is in lane 7. Quickly then the rest of the field. Danette Young, very, very quick, is in lane 1. Lane 2 will be Wendy Vereen. Alice Brown is in lane factor here. Pam Marshall at 4, then Griffith Joyner, Gwen Torrance, and Valerie Briscoe. Diane Williams, 27 years old, from Los Angeles, is in lane 8. The world record is held jointly by Marita Koch of East Germany and Heike Drexler. Both of them have run that time of 21:71 twice. While Florence Griffith Joyner's American record was set yesterday and is still to be confirmed at 21:77. And here is the fashion update for today. Yet as unique as we might have expected it to be. Has lace ever been carried to a world record?
Anything I say, Al, is going to get me in trouble, but that is the first time she's covered both legs. I will cut to the matter we should be thinking about here. Gwen Torrence, just on the outside lane, is in a perfect position for an upset. I believe Florence can break the record, but Gwen Torrence, just on her outside, is a slow starter, but she does come on in the last 50 meters, and she's in perfect position to use that kind of strategy. Florence will control the race. Everyone else runs their race, keying off of Florence. Alice Brown will try and think in her mind, I've got to be out before Florence. Gwen Torrence will be thinking in her mind, I've got to stay with Florence in the turn and then reel her into the straightaway. So everything revolves around her.
You mentioned Torrence, Marty. She earned a spot on the U.S. team in the 100 meters with a third-place finish in that event behind Florence Griffith Joyner and Evelyn Ashford. And like Ashford, Valerie Briscoe wants a chance to go to the Olympics again. She's changed her nails from the opening rounds to now, but they're still trimmed in gold. Remember the world mark, 21:71. Got to keep an eye on the wind, too. It's been gusting. And off the start, it looks as though Florence Griffith Joyner is off to a very good start. Next to her, remember, is Gwen Torrence, and then Valerie Briscoe. And it is those three side by side coming down the stretch. Florence Griffith Joyner. Next to her, Gwen Torrence. Florence Griffith Joyner, but really being tested and across the line in 21:84. Pam Marshall is also there. 21:84, not an American mark and not a world mark. But she has won the heat and will represent the United States in both events, thereby becoming the first woman since Brenda Moorhead in 1976 to win both the 100 and 200 meter events at the Olympic trials.
That was the closest race we've seen her get from the Americans here at the trials. Gwen Torrence is third from the left. She starts to make a run at her, but Pam Marshall in the blue right next to Florence is the one who has the best shot at her as they enter the final 50 meters. Florence just concentrating on keeping her arms. She's very strong in the upper body this year. After 8 races, she doesn't have quite the snap she had at the 100 meters, but going through tough competition like this, it's like no other meet in the world. She'll go into the Olympics with an edge on sprinters from any other country. Once again, you see Gwen Torrence really pumping the arms. She watched Florence get that bit of a lead on the straightaway. She tried to move on her in the middle of the race. Actually, Gwen had a little problem there, almost went out of her lane. Pam Marshall, who was a sprint sensation last year, making a good run at her. But once again, Florence, the victor of both.
Now, you talking about fast? That's a fast woman. I mean, just imagine she running from the police. Okay, well, that's kind of a bad analogy. But let's just say, imagine she's running and she run from police. She'll make the police tired in a heartbeat, like just 1 minute. Like, I could just see her right now just running and just sprint and then do a spin move and just keep running and keep going. Well, she'll make them tired because that's how fast she is. Do y'all see that? That's a dynamic woman. Now, let's take a look at her biography and how she came from the humble beginnings to where she is today. All right? So let's take a look at it. All right. Here's my screen. All right, so Florence Griffith Joyner, also known as Florence Dolores Griffith Joyner, born Florence Dolores Griffith on December the 21st of 1959, and she passed away on September the 21st, 1998. Also known as Flo-Jo, was an American track and field athlete. Okay, she is the fastest woman of all time. The world records she set in 1988 for both the 100 meter and 200 meters still stand. During the late 1980s, she became a popular figure in the international track and field because of her record-setting performance and flashy personal style. Griffith Joyner was born and raised in California. She was athletic from a young age and began running tracks meets as a child while attending California State University, Northridge, and University of California, Los Angeles. She continued to compete in track and field while still in college. Griffith Joyner qualified for the 100 meter of 1980 Olympics. Although she did not actually compete due to the U.S. boycott, she made her Olympic debut 4 years later, winning a silver medal in the 200 meter distance at the 1984 Olympics held in Los Angeles. At the 1988 U.S. Olympic trials, Griffith set a new world record in the 100 meter sprint. She went on to win 3 gold medals at the 1988 Olympics. In February 1989, she abruptly retired. After her retirement from athletics, Griffith Joyner remained a pop culture figure through endorsement deals, acting, and designing. She died in her sleep as a result of epilepsy seizure in 1998 at the age of 38 years old. All right. So she was very young when she passed away. That's young. And anybody who has a seizure, you have to be careful, because a lot of people that got seizure, they cannot be around light, like flashing light. Let's say, for example, there's like different color flashing light going on. They can't be around that for too long because it will cause their brain to interrupt and it will make them just, it will cause them to have bad nerves and all that, and they start jerking and everything. So, yeah. So people with seizure, they have to be really careful, especially when they're under stress, especially when they're tired, and especially when they're around a bunch of lights, flashing lights. They have to maintain that. So having a seizure is nothing to play with, because you never know. You can't always bounce back from that. You can't bounce back from it, for real. But let's continue to look on more into this woman's life and how she grew up. All right, so let's look up the early life. Okay. Now, check this out. Griffith was born in Los Angeles, California, 7 of 11 children born to Robert, an electronic engineer, and Florence Griffith, a seamstress. The family lived in Little Rock, California before Florence Griffith moved with her children to the Jordan Towns public housing complex located in the Watts section of Los Angeles. So Flo-Jo grew up in the projects, right? She grew up in the projects in the Watts. Basically, when Griffith was in elementary school, she joined the Sugar Ray Robinson organization, running in track meets on weekends. She won the Jesse Owens National Youth Games 2 years in a row. At the ages of 14 and 15, Griffith ran track at Jordan High School in Los Angeles. Okay. Showing an early interest in fashion, Griffith persuaded the members of the track team, to wear tights with their uniforms. As a high school senior in 1978, she finished 6th at the CIF California State meet behind future teammates Alice Brown and Pam Marshall. Nevertheless, by the time Griffith graduated from Jordan High School in 1978, she set high school records in sprinting and long jump. All right, now let's check this out. Let's look at her career. Okay. Now it says Griffith attended the California State University at Northridge and was on the track team coached by Bob Carese. This team, which included Brown and Jeanette Bolden, won the national championship during Griffith's first year of college. However, Griffith had to drop out to support her family, taking a job as a bank teller. Carese found financial aid for Griffith and she returned to college in 1980, this time at University of California in Los Angeles, where Carese was working as a coach. Okay. It says Brown, Bolden, and Griffith qualified for the 100-meter final at the trials of the 1980 Summer Olympics, with Brown winning and Griffith finished last in the final. Griffith also ran the 200 meters, narrowly finishing fourth and a foot out of a qualifying position. However, the U.S. government had already decided to boycott those Olympics games, mooting those results. In 1983, Griffin graduated from UCLA with her bachelor's degree in psychology. So, you thought that she was just an athlete all her life. Yes, but she had a plan as well. While she was in college at UCLA, she earned her bachelor's degree in psychology. Now, she probably didn't really use her degree because she was too busy doing track meets and whatnot, and that's pretty difficult. But then again, you know what? It's not really difficult because you come, but as you're working, you're always using psychology. As you're around people, you're always using psychology. Now, she may not have got into the field that she actually wanted, but best believe she had to use psychology, because if she didn't use psychology, she would not be the world best track runner ever. So this woman had to be more strategic and learn how to play the game and how she would go about dealing with her opponents or other runners around her, right? So it's pretty unique, but go ahead. Let's continue. Okay, so let's look what it says. Olympic runners. Griffin finished fourth in the 200-meter sprint at the first World Championship in athletics in 1983. The following year, Griffin qualified the Olympics in the 200-meter distance with the second fastest time at the United States Olympic Trials held in Los Angeles, California. Evelyn Ashford, another UCLA alumnus and early favorite to medal, dropped out of the 200-meter due to injury. Griffin went on to win a silver medal in the 1984 Summer Olympics. Now, anybody that knows about the Olympics, that's something huge and major, okay? If you make it to the Olympics, that's major. And we talking about you getting ready to make some profits for real if you made it to the Olympics. That's where you get a lot of revenue because you're on the international level. So when you go international, that's more money coming in than doing it domestically. And she won a silver medal. Let's look at that. All right. Power off. Okay, so let's look at the comeback and attempt and other activities. All right. So Griffith Joyner's success at 1988 Olympics led to new opportunities in the week following the Olympics. Griffith Joyner earned millions of dollars from endorsement deals, primarily in Japan. Griffith Joyner also signed a deal with toy maker LJN Toys for a Barbie doll in her likeness. Now, it's also said that among the things she did away from the track was to design the basketball uniforms for the Indiana Pacers. Wait a minute. Among the things she did away from the track, she was to design the basketball uniforms for the Indiana Pacers team in 1989. She served as co-chair of President's Council on Physical Fitness. She made a guest appearance as herself on season 4 of episode 227, which was one of my favorite shows growing up. Griffith Joyner appeared in the soap opera Santa Barbara in 1992 as Terry Holloway, a photographer similar to Annie Leibovitz. I'm not going to say that person's last name. Anyways, in 1996, Griffith Joyner appeared on Charlie Rose and announced her comeback to competitive athletics, concentrating on the 400-meter run. Her reason was that she had already set world marks in both the 100-meter and 200-meter events with the 400-meter world record being her goal. Griffith Joyner trained steadily leading up to the U.S. Olympic trials in June. However, tendinitis in her right leg ended her hopes of becoming a triple world record holder. Al Joyner also attempted a comeback, but he was unable to compete due to an injured quadricep muscle. Now, her style address. Beyond her running prowess, Griffith Joyner was known for her bold fashion choices. Griffith Joyner appeared at the World Championship in 1987 in Rome wearing a hoodie speed skating bodysuit. In April of 1988, she started wearing a running suit with the right leg on the suit extending to the ankle and the left leg of the suit cut off, a style she called the one-legger. The running suit also had bold colors such as lime green or purple with the white bikini bottoms and embellished with lightning bolts. Her nails also garnered attention for their length and designs. Her nails were 4 inches long with tiger stripes at the 1988 Olympic trials before switching to fuchsia. For the Olympic Games themselves, Griffith Joyner had 6-inch nails painted red, white, blue, and gold. Although many sprinters avoided accessories which might slow them down, Griffith Joyner kept her hair long and wore jewelry while competing. She designed many of her outfits herself and preferred looks which were not conventional. So, again, Miss Flo-Jo had her own style, okay? Now, I'm going to sum it up for you. Wait a second. I'm going to sum it up for you. Flo-Jo was ghetto, okay? She was hood with it, all right? She brought the ghetto to the tracks. That's what it was. I mean, let's put it like that. She was flamboyant. I mean, she wore the nails. She wore the hair. And not only because she wore her hair, she wore jewelry. See, nobody else was going to do it, but she said, hey, I can still run, do my sprints, and still look good, okay? And still look fabulous. And still come out there with the attitude, okay? Can't nobody do it like that. Can't nobody do what I do. Because, see, I'm unique like that. And not to mention, she designed her own stuff. Well, she had to learn that from her mama because her mama was a seamstress. And for those of you that don't know what a seamstress is, it's someone that make clothing or whatnot. So she had to learn that from her mama. She had to learn how to acquire that. Yeah, y'all see my Marvel t-shirt? Yeah. Anyways, I mean, what more can we say? I mean, the woman had her own taste. And that what built her confidence. That's what made her more confident. Okay. That's why I love her so much, because she was so unique. You know? But anyways, let's get back to this. All right. So now, here come the allegation. Here come the allegation. And no one's likes to deal with allegations, especially when it comes down to drugs. But anyways, after her record-shattering performance at the 1988 U.S. Olympic trials, she became an object of suspicion when she arrived at the 1988 Games in Seoul. Athletes, including Joaquin Cruz and Ben Johnson, expressed disbelief over Griffith Joyner's dramatic improvement over a short period of time. Before the 1988 track and field season, Griffith Joyner's best time in the 100-meter sprint was 10.96 seconds, set in 1987. In 1988, she improved that by 0.47 seconds. Her best before 1988 at 200 meters was 21.96 seconds, also set in 1987. In 1988, she improved that by 0.62 seconds to 21.34 seconds, another time that has not been approached. Griffith Joyner attributed a change in her physique to new health programs. Al Joyner replaced Bob Carice as her coach, and he changed her training program to include more lower body strength training exercise such as squats and lunges. Okay. Now, check this out. In a 1989 story for which he was purposely paid $25,000, Daryl Robinson, a former teammate of Griffith Joyner, claimed that he sold her 10 cc of HGH for $2,000 in 1988. He said Joyner told him, if you want to make $1 million, you got to invest some thousands. Robinson also claimed to receive steroids from Coach Bob Carice and said he saw Carl Lewis injecting himself with drugs he believed to be testosterone. Robinson never provided any evidence for his allegation and was shunned by the athletics community, leading to the premature end of his career. After the 1988 Olympics, Griffith Joyner retired from the competitive track and field just before the introduction of mandatory random drug testing in 1989. She was repeatedly tested during competition and she passed all these drug tests. Wow. So, see, they tried to downplay the sister. They tried to downplay her by saying that she was taking them steroids, that she ain't naturally that fast. That's what they was trying to say. They say, she can't be this fast. Not naturally. Not no black woman. So what they was trying to say is, she injected some drug in her system. We need to find out what's going on. And some guy got on there who was paid $25,000 to say, yes, I was selling these steroids to her because she wanted to enhance her performance or whatever. And they come to find out it was a bunch of bullshit. That's what fucked his career over badly. That's what fucked him over. So she took all those drug tests and came back. She was negative. She was clear. She's just naturally gifted. It takes a lot of work out to be that athletic. Trust me, how do I know? I used to play basketball in high school. So one thing that we had to do was condition. We had to train. All right. We had to sprint up and down the court. All right. We had to do suicide, which that was no joke because that hurted like shit. And there would be times I wanted to cry. And you got to be able to breathe properly. That's why, if you notice, like the way that we're supposed to breathe, technically, we're supposed to breathe from our stomach, our diaphragm, all the way on up to our nostril, and then out of our mouth. That's how we're supposed to breathe. We're supposed to breathe from our stomach, then to our nose, then out of our mouths. So that's because when you breathe that way, it will become more efficient, makes it a lot easier, just like when you're swimming. What do swimmers do? They breathe from their stomach, right? Then they breathe out, and then they be able to let out air out their mouths. But they have to learn the practice of breathing underwater, because if you don't know how to breathe underwater, you're going to drown. If you can't breathe properly, you're not going to be able to run. You're going to pass out. So it takes training for that kind of stuff. It's not just something that just happens just overnight. You got to really train. You got to condition. You have to condition your body, meaning that you got to get your body prepared for this type of events to take place. So whether any type of sports you're playing, whether it be track, whether it be swimming, whether it be football or basketball, you got to train your body and you got to eat the proper nutrition and you got to be on certain type of diets in order to stay that way. But there has come times in the past where some people, some athletes have taken drugs because they wanted to enhance their skills and they want to become a lot stronger. So there were those who have done it before in the past. And that's pretty much cheating your way. Be honest, you cheating your way through the games. You cheating your way in the athletic program. Yeah, there's some people that got busted for that shit, and it was a done deal for their career. It was over with because you basically cheating. You're not putting the effort into building your body up, building your muscles, putting strength on yourself. You're not doing that. You're allowing the drugs to make it do the process. And then what's going to happen is the drug is going to destroy some part of your body, whether it be your heart, whether it be your kidney, whether it be your brain, whatever. It's going to eventually destroy something, and it's going to become noticeable. So yeah, don't take no steroids if you're an athlete. Do not do it, because in the long run, that shit gonna catch up with you. So don't do it. I wouldn't even recommend it at all. Just get your ass on a diet, work out every day. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself, train, and you're good to go. That's that. All right, so let's go back and continue. All right, okay, so let's get down to her personal life. So Griffin's nickname among family was Dee Dee. She was briefly engaged to hurdler Greg Foster in 1987. Griffin married 1984 triple jump champion Al Joyner, whom Griffin had first met at the 1980 Olympic trials. Through her marriage to Joyner, she was a sister-in-law to track and field athlete Jackie Joyner Carice. Griffin Joyner and Joyner had one child together, Mary Ruth Joyner, born on November the 15th, 1990. All right. And then here it is. Sadly, she died in her sleep at home in Canyon Crest neighborhood of Mission Vallejo, California, at the age of 38. The unexpected death was investigated by the Orange County Sheriff Coroner's Office, which announced on September 22nd that the cause of death was suffocation during a severe epilepsy seizure. And she had other conditions as well, as such as the cavernous, a congenital vascular brain abnormality that made Joyner subject to seizure. According to a family attorney, she had suffered a tonic-clonic seizure in 1990 and had also been treated for a seizure in 1993 and 1994. According to the Sheriff Coroner's Office, the only drugs in her system when she died were small amounts of two common over-the-counter drugs, which is like Tylenol and Benadryl. So yeah, that was so sad. But anyways, the legacy that she left behind. U.S. Track and Field inducted her into the Hall of Fame in 1995. In 2000, the 102nd Street School in Los Angeles was renamed Florence Griffith Joyner Elementary School. Griffith Joyner had attended the school as a child. The city of Mission Vallejo dedicated a park at the entrance of her neighborhood in her honor. Griffith Joyner was also an artist and painter. Her work has been on display as part of the Art of the Olympians. She is one of two posthumous members of AOTO, the other being the founder of Olympian Al Orator. All right. So check this out. If you want to find out more information, here's the references at the bottom. Yes. So here's the notes. All right. And also there go external link to find out more information about her. And that's that. So yes. So that's enough information about one of my favorites, Flo-Jo. It's sad that she passed away at such a young age at 38, and I'm in my 30s. I'm 31. So at 38 years old, and you suffering from seizure, ladies and gentlemen, please take care of your health. Do not always stress yourself out, because when you under pressure so much and you under a lot of stress, it'll kill you. And I believe what triggered her death is over the years of dealing with a lot of stress and pressure because of trying to train herself and condition herself as an athlete to become the best runner. And you got to be careful, especially when you done play sports. You have to be really careful, because later on down the line, it has its effect. You see, it's going to eventually catch up with you, and it's going to wear you down, just like with boxing. After a boxer been hit in the head for so long, yeah, they end up retiring, but guess what? Eventually, they start to suffer migraine headaches. They end up with Parkinson's disease, bad nerve damage. They can't stay focused. They can't do their normal routine. And same way with playing football. With the football players, when they get hit in the head so much, although they're wearing helmets, where I get hammered from, although they're wearing helmets, right, and they're out there on the field, they're running, but once you start getting hit in the head and the helmet come off the head, or somebody just elbow you and all this other stuff, you suffer a serious concussion. And when you start having all those concussions, guess what? When you start having all those concussions, it damages your brain. Then you got those who do all those bench pressing. When you do so much bench pressing, right, that affects your cardio system or cardiovascular system. That affects your heart. It slows down your heart rate, and you go into the cardiac arrest. So playing sports is great and it's cool, but you don't want to do it for too long. You don't want to be into sports for too long, especially a physical sport such as basketball, football, because when you deal with a lot of those injuries and you have to get all those surgeries, And then when you're doing this track meet, you got to do all those sprinting, you're doing all this running, and you can't do it for too long. So eventually you got to have a backup plan. So anyway, this woman was very gifted. She was very creative. She was the greatest athlete of all time. So with that being said, I thank you guys for watching, listening. And if you want to share this video, you're more than welcome to do so. Also, check out my YouTube channel, which is Tiffany French. Make sure you check it out and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also share the video, share the channel, do all that great stuff, okay? Until then, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. And I thank you all for tuning in, watching. Until next time, we will reconnect. All right, be safe. All right, thank you so much. Peace.